So I'm going to talk you through some of the study options and future careers in electrical and electronic engineering. As Laura said, my name is Professor Peter Kennedy. I'm the Deputy Head of School, and I'm also the Program Director for one of the programs I'm going to talk about, which is the Master of Engineering Science in Electrical, Electronic and Computer Engineering. Okay, I'll give you a brief introduction to my own background because we as students, we all start our paths in different directions, and there's some questions that you'll be asking yourself at the moment. Really, why pursue postgraduate study? If you decide to come in our direction, we'll tell you about the programs we have, why we're particularly good in some areas, an example program structure, and then a summary at the end. So I started life as an electronic engineer with a bachelor's degree from University College Dublin. I had worked through, while I was a student, I worked with Philips Radio Manufacturing Company, and I guess that's what the work experience is what brought me to electronic engineering. I then left Ireland and went to the US to do my master's and PhD. Having decided on an academic career, I came back to work at University College Dublin, then Cork, then back to Dublin again. I've also had visiting appointments at EPFL in Switzerland, BME in Hungary, AGA in Poland, Imperial College London, Pavia, and Naples in Italy. And then my research is in the area of nonlinear dynamics and frequency synthesis. So when I was a student, I was thinking, why do I know enough? I decided when I graduated that I didn't know enough and I wanted to take more coursework. So my main reason for doing postgraduate study was, number one here, to take advanced coursework from experts so I could learn more in particular areas. The second reason you might want to think of it is if you haven't had an employment internship in your undergraduate studies, maybe you can pick that up as part of one of our programs. The third reason is perhaps to develop research skills, again with experts, if you want to specialize in a particular area or if you want to do more research in that field. If you want an academic career, then you must get a PhD today. And so the postgraduate studies is absolutely essential. The key thing in terms of developing your profile for a PhD and academic career is the publications you write and the research you do. And then, of course, you'd like to live and learn in a different environment or a different country from your home. That was my main reason for leaving Ireland for postgraduate studies. Now, we have two different program types. The first is intended for students who already have a four-year bachelor's degree. It's called the Master of Engineering Science. It's a 12-month intensive program where you do 2 trimesters of coursework and then 1 trimester with a short research project. The second program is called the Master of Engineering. And the Master of Engineering is in the European style of a 3+2. It's the 2 years that you put on top of a 3-year BSc degree or BNGSC degree. It's 20 months, so that's 5 trimesters. In year 1, you do 1 trimester of coursework and then an paid internship with a company where you get work experience. Then in year 2, you do 2 trimesters of coursework and a long research project. In the research project, you write a research paper, and so you get the kind of training that you would expect if you're heading towards a PhD. Now, in the school, we have 3 main program areas. The first one is biomedical engineering, second is electrical power engineering, and the third is electronic and computer engineering. In biomedical, we currently only have the ME, which is the 2-year program. In power engineering, we have the 1-year electrical power networks, MNGSC, and then we have electrical power engineering, a 2-year program with placement. Electronic and computer engineering, we have both the MNGSC and the ME. Historically, University College Dublin has been extremely strong in the area of signal processing. We have a number of startup companies who have developed products that you might recognize, some of the technology that's used in Apple iPhones, some technology that's used in branded cars, high-end cars, came from research that was done here. We're also very strong in communications and particularly in circuits. Ireland is particularly strong in RF circuits, data converters, mixed signal, and increasingly in digital. On the power system side, Ireland has this unique geography. We have an island electricity grid with DC connections to the UK and onward to continental Europe. So there has been particular challenges associated with integrating renewables into the grid, and therefore there's special expertise in that area. In the area of biomedical signal process, biomedical engineering, the electrical electronic side of that is the signal processing. So things like what goes into Fitbits or what goes into sleep apnea diagnosis and so on, or monitoring. So we have a lot of strength in biomedical signal processing. And then more recently, we have a program evolving in quantum engineering, and there's an important startup in that area too. Some of the people in these fields, research leaders, if you look internationally, the mark of very high quality is what's called the Fellow of IEEE. And we have at least 5 IEEE fellows here on the list. In biomedical engineering, the Madeline Lowry and Elaine Corbett have received very prestigious research grants, and they're very strong research programs. On the power engineering side, you have there Andrew Keane and Federico Milano, who are looking at stability of power systems and also how you integrate renewables in those. And then on the electronic and computer engineering side, it's mainly towards circuits and systems. We, again, write books on the topics and have published many books in these fields. Now, if you're interested in the one-year MNGSC program, I'm showing as an example here T257, which is the electronic and computer engineering program. In that, you do 90 credits of what we call the ECTS, that's the European standard for credits, 90 ECTS credits, 70 of which must be at level 4, which is basically higher level undergraduate or starting master's program. The structure is the first 30 credits, so that's 6 modules you do in the autumn, another 6 modules you do in spring, and then over the summer there's a research project. Examples of some of those modules, if you have an interest in signal processing, we have signals and systems, advanced signal processing. If you're interested in circuits, there's analog integrated circuits, and digital system design, they later build to mixed signal circuits. If you're interested in quantum, we have a route for that. There's machine learning. If you're interested in communications, we have wireless systems and digital communications and so on. In the spring, you also have the option of doing some modules on the professional side in terms of finance or management. And then you move further forward along your path of signal processing, if that's what you like, communications, or into circuits or quantum. Over the summer, you do this 3-month research project, and examples of some of those, they're offered by the supervisors in the fields in which they're working, where they're carrying out research. So for example, I've highlighted in the middle there, Professor Anding Zhu. He's an expert in digital predistortion for power amplifiers. His technology has gone into mobile phone base stations throughout the world. The ME program then is the 2-year program. This is 120 credits. It's accredited by our national accreditation body, Engineers Ireland. You have to take some core modules, and then you have a number of options to take as well. The core modules include software engineering, control theory, machine learning, and professional engineering management. And then there's a range of options like the ones you've seen for the MNGSC. The structure is in the first year, 30 credits of coursework, that's 6 modules. And then there's an 8-month work placement with a company. This is a paid work placement, which is valued at 30 credits. It runs from January to August. In your second year, there are first 20 credits of, in autumn, 20, there's a typo there, 20 credits of coursework, that's 4 modules. In the spring, another 15 credits of coursework, and then there's a 25 credit project that runs across both trimesters. So if you want to do postgraduate study and you have the choice, you're smart, you, I'm sure, have many, many options. The question is, well, why would you want to come to us, or why should you come to us? I would argue that we have some, in particular fields, we have some of the best experts in the world, and you can get an excellent training and later references from these people from in terms of the coursework at either the MNGSC or the ME program. If you haven't had an employment experience, then if you take the ME program, there's a route to employment. If you want to develop research skills, again, with experts who can give you references if you want to go on to a PhD somewhere else, the MNGSC and the ME are excellent for that. If you would like to take the route to a PhD and have UCD either as your endpoint for that or as a stepping stone, then you will need publications. And I would recommend the ME because you can get very strong publications with the ME. Also, I went to the US. I studied as an undergraduate in Dublin. I went to America. It was a great experience to live in another place. You will have the opportunity to live in Dublin, which is an English-speaking multicultural place. And there are tremendous job opportunities afterwards, both on the electrical side and on the electronic side, and then also on the biomedical. We have links there to two videos. One is Providing the Pulse to Modern Life, which is about the semiconductor industry in Ireland. And also Midas Ireland is the industry body promoting microelectronics in Ireland. So after Manshi speaks, I'll be happy to answer questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Peter. Really great insights into the program. So I'm going to hand over now to Manshi, who is a current student of our MNGSC in Electronic and Computer Engineering, to share her experience so far.
Thank you, Professor Peter. Thank you, Laura. I would just share my screen. Just a minute. Yeah. So, hi, hello everyone. I'm Anshi, and I'm a current student in Electronics and Computer Engineering in Master's program here at UCD. So, I'm studying MNSC. So, before I say anything serious, I will share a student secret that nobody will tell you about UCD. So, somehow, somewhere, there's always people. So, if you see a suspicious crowd on campus at 2 p.m., it's probably free snack. So yeah, let me start with why I chose UCD and why I chose this course. So I wasn't pretty sure what I want to do. Either I want to do software or hardware side of the engineering. So when I came across electronics and computer engineering, I felt like it provided a rare balance of theory and practical work, and it had a blend of hardware, software systems, and as professor already showed that there's a wide range of modules that we can choose from. So the current modules I'm studying right now, they are software engineering, machine learning, wireless, digital. So it's like a good mix of software and hardware, something that I always wanted to study. Then UCD also offered me a Euro 10,000 scholarship because I had a good GPA in my undergrad. So UCD supported me in my finances when I had to study here. And I also heard from my seniors and from the UCD itself that the employability rate was significantly higher than other universities when I was comparing it to the other universities that I got admission in. And one of the greatest quality about UCD is that it is really inclusive. It is a prestigious Irish university, and it has a very cool library, a very beautiful and picturesque campus. So you can study anywhere, and you can enjoy the campus while you're also in your academic journey. You can enjoy the campus and the student societies. So. And I would like to speak something about the course that I'm studying. So, engineering courses, and especially my course, that is electronics and computer engineering, it has great academic flexibility. In autumn trimester, we have around 18 modules to choose from. In spring trimester, we have 12 more. And if you decide that you need to swap a particular module that you have taken, then you can do that. I think that window is open till 2 weeks since the commencement of your course. And you can swap it with the options that Professor Peter Kennedy had already shown in his presentation, or you can take another computer science module. And the professors and everybody is very helpful. So you will be able to take whatever module you wish. So that's a great flexibility. The course itself is very modern and it's very vast. And yes, there is a need of self-learn in it, but the support is there if you ask for it. During my tenure over here, like in these 3 months, I feel like the professors are very helpful. The TAs are very friendly, and we have exams after each trimester. And the last trimester of my course, we have a little small research project that we have to do. And if you choose the 2 year any course, then you will also have an internship in your course. So I feel like my course, it covers all the up-to-date engineering related, industry related topics. For example, in software, we were currently studying about agile, which is industry relevant. Currently, it is very industry relevant. So one more thing is that academically, the biggest support UCD has provided me is the UCD career portal. So if you go to the UCD career page or career portal, you can also book a 20 minutes appointment for yourself, where the people over there, they will sit down with you and they will look through your profile and your resume, and they will tell you what are some tweaks in your resume and how you can fix it, how you can modify it specifically for, a job or an internship if you are applying to it. And they will also help you prepare for the interviews. They will guide you based on your goals, so you can sit with them and you can discuss your career perspectives. You can tell them that, okay, I have this particular course, I have this interest, and if I want my career trajectory to go this way, then how I should go about it, and they will be very happy to help. So it's pretty personalized, I would say. Students with 2 year course, they have an inbuilt internship, so it's a huge plus. One of the greatest thing that I came across in UCD while studying here was career fairs. So I have attended 3 career fairs. They were engineering specific, women in STEM specific, and the one that was organized by UCD itself. So a lot of companies, they came. It was a great networking event. I got to know about a lot of opportunities while I interacted with the employers themselves. So I think that career fair is also a big plus that UCD offers in academic support and career support. So also there are great societies over here. I'm a part of Women in STEM Society and NSTOC Society, and they are brilliant, and they organize competition, workshops, industrial tours, and other events where you can network with other students or potential employers. So my experience so far would be that outside the classroom, settling into UCD and Ireland was smoother than I expected, mostly because, as I already mentioned, that the support provided by UCD was something that it's out of it's out of their generosity that they have. When I like my experience would be that when I had come here in September, I did not have a great idea about what modules I would want to take, and I was swapping the modules. But like the professors, especially Professor Peter Kennedy and the student career support, they were like the student connector. They were very patient and they were like, okay, if you want to swap over here, you can do this. So that's a big plus if you come to UCD, according to me. And as I already mentioned, the student societies, there are a lot of student societies that you can select from. There are academic student societies, there are sports student societies, music, anything that interests you. I feel like UCD has one student society for everybody. So you can join that. and it also adds to your extracurricular activity. Looking forward, my career goal is that I should add value to the society through the things that I'm going to learn here, not only in academics but also in society. Like I'm taught how an inclusive environment is. I have a good circle of friends, all thanks to UCD. So I came here to explore a new domain and strengthen my engineering foundation, and I feel like these 3 months have been really fruitful for that. Also, UCD has a mix of academic freedom, supportive people, and a campus that spoils you with choices, and a community where you don't feel like an outsider. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to me. If you want any help, any recommendations in modules, or if you just want to know where free food is, I'm always there to help. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Manshi. Really great to hear that you're having a great experience with us and some really great insights for those attending our webinar today. So we are going to open up the floor to questions now. So if anyone has any questions, as I mentioned at the start, you can type them in using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. But I know we did get sent some questions in advance, so Katie might pop them in the chat, or we can just kind of pose them to our speakers. So I know one of the questions that I got through, maybe Katie, I'll get you to answer it if that's okay. It was just
Sure.
in relation to what scholarships are available to non-EU students applying for the program, and is there any way they could strengthen their application when they're making it to us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have non-EU scholarships, absolutely. The most valuable is called a Global Excellence Scholarship. You'll also hear it referred to as a GES. It's a highly competitive scholarship, but it's a very simple application. The value ranges from 50% or 100% off your tuition fee. But as I say, it's very, very competitive and there's not many of them. You apply online. You don't need to send in pages and pages. It's conciseness about why you've chosen the program, why you stand out. Every non-EU student will also be assessed for International Student Scholarship, which is an ISS. There is no application for that. They are assessed at the time of their offer or their conditional offer. And that is really based on their academic performance. So they're the two they should really keep an eye out on.
Great. That's really helpful. There's another question here, I'm guessing from an internal UCD undergraduate student in engineering. Can they do the electrical power masters if they are currently doing the electronics option? Peter, I don't know if you wanted to jump in there if you were able
Uh,
to give some guidance on that.
I believe so. If the student is in the fourth year, is that correct?
They're in third year currently.
They're in third year. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we allow when you get to fourth year, you can keep the door open. You can take power modules as well as the electronics modules. Or the other thing you could do is you could finish one program and then take an MNGSC. So we have an MNGSC on both sides. A student a few years back, she did biomedical engineering and then she wanted to learn more microelectronics. So she did an MNGSC on top. And equally, you could do that. You can either keep the options open as long as you can through the BE or the ME program, or do a 1 year add-on, whichever suits you best.
Okay,
I would say, talk to the professors to get an idea, and they'll help you.
great. Thank you so much. And then we just had a question in for Manchi. Um, is there a workload difference between what you experienced within your bachelor's and then maybe was it a big step up to going to do a master's program?
Yeah, so since it's master's, it's obviously a little bit, the workload is a little bit more than I had in my bachelor. Also, there's a bit of self-learning, but if you study daily, like if you dedicate 3 hours to your study, then it's helpful. Also, there are assignments, but the professors, it's designed in a way that you get at least 2 weeks to do your one assignment. So yes, a little bit workload is there, but if you study daily, then I think it can be covered.
Great.
Since
And then
it's masters, then obviously it would be more than the bachelor.
no, that makes sense. And there was just a follow-on question for that, maybe Peter, to yourself. Is there an emphasis in the programs, and I suppose yours in particular, on independent study, or is it a lot of kind of lecture-based and things are given to students, or is the emphasis on independent study and learning?
No, most of the modules they're taken by our own undergraduates and our own master's students. So for students coming in from outside, we're all treated the same, and there will be lectures. There will be laboratory components where maybe you're building something, maybe you're writing some software. There will be homework. There may be midterms in some classes and final exams, but it's basically like um, undergraduate studies in terms of the structure of the modules. There is, of course, the research project, but that's there's a 3 month research project in the MHSC, and then one that runs for 2 trimesters in the ME. So it's a little bit bigger.
Great. And then and Katie or Peter, if you want to jump in, there's just a question relating to those students who are considering an ME program, and obviously the placement is a big part of
Yeah.
that. How does securing a placement work, and is there any issues with students? What happens if they don't find a placement?
Okay, so the placement is organized by our careers office. All students, so the students start in September and will then get help preparing their CVs. There will be a list of companies to which they can apply. They apply to, I think, 10 companies. Those companies then come in and interview people. I would say generally, almost all students get a placement. There may be one or two who don't, and in that case, we can either organize a shorter work placement or a research project instead with one of the academics in the college.
Great. And then also relation to maybe a student who's kind of trying to decide if they would like to do the 1 year or the 2 year program. Is there any advantages, I suppose, with employers looking at a student who has done a 1 year versus a 2 year? Does that matter?
Yeah, if you haven't had a work placement and you'd like to go to work, then the ME is better. But equally, if you do the MNGSC, you'll have done a little bit of research, you'll have lived in the environment, you have exposure to the professors who are working in the area, you'll know the area, and especially for international students, you have the right to work for 2 years automatic after you finish your studies in Ireland. So we have seen students go from the MNGSC into employment, straight into employment, and also to go from the ME.
Okay, great. And then this is again from one of our current third year students. The structure of our program means if they graduate with, say, the BSc currently at the end of third year, are there options to go to maybe another institution and do an integrated ME somewhere else, having only done the BSc with us? I don't know if you're
Yes, that's the whole point of the 3+2 program across Europe. The Bologna Agreement was that students should be able to transfer after a BSc into another institution. And I'm aware I'm writing a reference for a student at the moment who wants to do exactly that. It's an unusual path. Not too many students do it. But if that's what you'd like to do, we'll certainly be supportive of your journey.
great. And then they were just also asking, is there any possibility of potentially the robotics and intelligent manufacturing program being turned into an ME in the future?
I
That's
we're
in the School of Mechanical and Materials Engineering. So they
Yes.
might even want to pop onto that webinar as well. But sorry, Peter, you might have a little insight into that, did you?
Mechatronics, we know there's an interest in mechatronics, and it's something that we're watching closely. There's a student society doing robotics, there's another student society doing drones. There's a lot of interest in this area. We have modules, but we haven't packaged things together in a specialized master's. We would believe that a student who does the master's should be able to should be able to work in the area without having a narrow specialization. We want to give it a little bit broader special program.
Yeah, great. And as Katie said, our we have another webinar on our School of Mechanical and Materials Engineering coming up, which I think they'll cover that program in a lot greater detail as well. And there was just one other question here in relation: does the university provide master's students with access to digital libraries? And this in particular was an example of the IEEE Explore library, which I'm not familiar with, but you may be.
Oh, absolutely. We all have access to IEEE Explore. It's a given.
Okay, great. So I think that's any of the Q&As that we have open currently, unless anyone had anyone they want to pop in just as we wrap up. If not, we'll have come to the end of our webinar today. Just before we finish up, just to let you know that if you do have any follow-up questions after today or would like any additional resources, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And my colleague Katie has popped her and my email address in the chat there as well. And thank you to everyone for joining us. We truly appreciate your time and engagement today. Plenty of great questions, and we hope you found it useful, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future. And then just finally, a big thank you to our speakers for their insights today, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah.